What's up, guys? Big Vic back with another video. Apparently, truck drivers are boycotting New York over the Trump verdict.
Well, some of President Trump's supporters are pushing back against what they see as an unfair justice system, threatening a boycott that could have a major impact on the country's largest city. Some truck drivers say they're planning on refusing shipments to and from New York City in protest of that $355 million verdict against the former president in his business fraud trial. Dre Clark is live in Manhattan with the latest. Dre, what could this boycott do to prices, not just in New York, but for all of us across the country?
Well, certainly if truck drivers were to boycott New York City, the impact has the potential to be very damaging and very quickly. We're talking about supermarkets, big box stores, and other businesses that rely heavily on trucking. They would feel the pinch, and so would their customers. About 90% of communities here in New York City rely heavily on trucking to move their goods. This morning, we're on the Jersey side of the George Washington Bridge, and every day you can see hundreds, if not thousands, of trucks crossing the bridge from Jersey into the city. Meanwhile, one man is now telling truck drivers not to come to New York City after former President Trump was hit with that massive multi-million-dollar fine last week. Take a listen.
I've been on the radio talking to drivers for about the last hour 15 minutes, and I'm talking to at least 10 drivers going the other way. I'm heading down from Southern Wisconsin, and they're going to start refusing loads in New York City starting on Monday.
Yeah, the man calls himself Chicago Ray, and as of last night, his post on X, formerly Twitter, had garnered more than 6 million views and 60,000 likes. Former President Trump also caught wind of what Chicago Ray is doing and reposted Ray's video on his platform, Truth Social. But it's hard to ascertain exactly how many drivers are answering his call and what kind of impact it may have. It's not an organized effort, and the drivers expressing support for Chicago Ray, they're scattered all across the country. We did reach out to the Teamsters Union, the union representing many truck drivers, but did not get a response. We also contacted and tried to call at least the National Supermarket Association, which is based here in New York City, but did not get a response. Meanwhile, Chicago Ray says he and other truckers are irate over Judge Arthur Engoron's fining former President Trump more than $355 million for fraud. Ray, like the former president, believes it's a form of election interference. Meanwhile, we talked to one driver who says she's joining the movement to boycott New York City, and she says if things go as planned, the city could pay a big price.
It could shut New York City down. And, you know, I don't want to hurt the people of New York. That's not what I'm trying to do. But my part in it, if New York just loses 10%, just 10% of the trucks that go in there, their prices are going to skyrocket on everything from milk to eggs to any type of goods that the consumer needs. And when that happens, it's going to cost everybody more money.
Yeah, but not every truck driver is getting behind Chicago Ray's efforts. Many drivers responded saying that they would not support the former president because he was accused and now he's been found liable for causing fraud. They say also the New York City market is just too big to ignore.
So after watching that, now I already know that there's going to be, it's almost like the scenario where, you know, we're out here asking people not to take cheap freight. Right. And so when a situation like this comes up, there's people that's going to capitalize off of this. And there's people that are going to stand, you know, that stand with the drivers. Right. So it's going to be almost like any boycott. Right. Typically, prices are going to go up on the loads. If people decide not to move the freight has to get moved. Right. Which means that's going to drive the price of the freight up. That has to go into New York. Right, for a majority of the people that won't take it, like some of the bigger carriers. So of course, there's going to be some opportunities here, and the opportunists that are out there, they're gonna get paid. Right, so I don't know if they're going to be blocking streets off, blocking entrances to some of these, you know, shippers or receivers. I don't know if the other truckers are going to be doing that. Like that can get real crazy. Right. So because I know one time in New York when there was a strike for nurses, the nurses had a strike. And this happened very similar. My aunt has a nursing agency. I flew up to Connecticut because she's like, hey, I'm gonna pay you $30 an hour. There's a strike. The nurses are on strike. I'm in. Count me in. I have nothing to do with the strike. I'm trying to get a bag. She's like, I'm gonna pay you $30 an hour. Let's go. I was on the plane up there to go get that money. Right? So I see the same thing that's probably gonna happen with these truckers that are boycotting up there in New York. So something similar, it just happens. You're gonna have people that are for the strike, some people that are not for the strike. Some people love Trump, some people don't love Trump. So you're gonna see both sides come out. Some people are not gonna, if they don't take the freight, they're not gonna take the freight. But at the same time, you can't stop people from wanting to get their money. And those stores are going to need supplies, and the drivers are not going to bring those supplies to those stores. There's going to be somebody else that's going to bring the supplies to those stores. It could get ugly. I don't know. But I know right now, I'm sure up there in New York, they're probably scrambling in those grocery stores, especially when as the bigger this gets, the more it hits social media, the more people will more than likely, start buying up things in the grocery store and just naturally in panic mode. Now, I also do know that when Trump was in office, I can't say anything else. I'm not a big political guy. I'm not on, not really into politics at all. But what I would say is that when Trump was in office, there was a lot of money floating around. The faucet was turned up. The money faucet was turned up. And when he got out of office, they turned the faucet off. The faucet was turned off. I did see that. I did see that. So you guys let me know what you think down below in the comments. What do you think is going to happen? Are you driving? Are you going into New York? Will you take loads that go into New York? Will you take loads coming out of New York? Because if you do, I already know the bag is going to pay handsomely because of the amount of drivers that are going to boycott because of this verdict. For you guys that are in the community, what's your take on it? It's Tommy Big Vic TV. Let's talk about it down in the comments. Let's go. Let's get it. Let's eat.